Hi, my name is Keith Newstadt, and I'm going to be giving you a live demo of MagnetoDB. It's a new NoSQL horizontally scaling database as a service built specifically for OpenStack. For those of you who are not familiar with MagnetoDB, I encourage you to take a look at Ilya Svirdov's brown bag from this summit as well, called MagnetoDB 101. For this demo, we're going to answer the incredibly important question of who topped the charts 30 years ago today at the time of this OpenStack Paris Summit. In order to answer that question, I got a great data set from bullfrogspond.com, which gives the top 100 pop charts, US pop charts, from the past 120 years. Then I wrote a little bit of code, a little bit of Python code, and I imported that right into MagnetoDB. And just like I would with any kind of database, I defined my schema, my tables, based on the kinds of queries I was going to do. I've got my songs table, which makes it really easy to query on a specific song or on a set of songs based on a certain criteria. And I also have my charts table, which makes it very easy to extract a particular chart from a particular week and year. So since MagnetoDB is an OpenStack project, the first thing I need to do before I get started is I have to authenticate to Keystone. There we go. I'm going to take my token, and I'm going to put it into my environment. And we should be ready to go. Now, I mentioned that I already created two tables, and I'm going to prove that I was telling the truth. I'm going to do a get against the tables resource. And I'm going to show that I have my charts table and my songs table. Now, I want to show you how I created these tables. I'm going to start with the charts table. I sent a post request to the tables resource, and here I specified the table. So I've got the name of the table, which is charts. I've got some of my attributes. I don't have all of them. MagnetoDB has a very flexible schema, so I don't have to define all of my columns up front. And then I've defined my key schema, or my primary index, which is a combination of the year that the song was, that the chart was for, and then a concatenation of the week and the position of the chart. And I'll show you how that works when I do the query. For the songs table, again, I posted to the tables resource. I named the table songs. I've got some of my attributes, and I've got my primary index, which is the artist and the track. I've also defined a secondary index called peak index, which is a combination of the artist and the highest each song has been on the top 100 charts. So now let's do some queries against those tables. For my first query, I'm going to look up a particular song. So I'm going to do a post to the songs table, and I'm going to specify my conditions, which are that the track has to be equal to Money for Nothing, and that the artist has to be equal to Dire Straits. So this is going to find a single record, and there you have it, Dire Straits' Money for Nothing, along with some other information that I've got, including number of weeks in the top 10, number of weeks in the top 40, the album that it was on. Now, I don't have to do a query against the entire index. I can just do a query against the hash portion. So if I do the same query, but I only specify the artist, then I will get a list of all Dire Straits songs that have ever been in the top 100. There have been 7 of those, and they're listed right here. I can also do a query against my secondary index. So again, I do a post against the songs index, or the songs resource. I've specified my index name, which is peak index. And for my conditions, I've said that the artist has to be equal to Madonna, and the high has to be less than or equal to 10. So what is this? This is Madonna songs in the top 10. And there were 38 of those, and I can see them listed here. So now let's answer the question that I started with, which is, what song topped the charts 30 years ago today? So here I'm going to do a post against the charts table in this case. My conditions are that the year is equal to 1984, 30 years ago, and the week position is between 44,000 and 44,010. Now again, this is a concatenation of the week in the year and the position in the charts. So what this is really asking for is all songs in the top 10 in week 44 in 1984. And the answer to our question is Billy Ocean, No More Love on the Run. And you can see the rest of the top 10 is down here as well. Stevie Wonder, Prince, Chicago. So what we want to take away from this is that in a very short period of time, given some interesting and useful data, I was able to put that interesting and useful data to good use and come out with some kind of cool functionality. And my next step would probably be to spin up a couple of VMs and to build a web service or a website on top of this functionality. And I did this without having to provision machines, provision storage, or deploy, operate, manage a database. All I had to do was reach out to MagnetoDB, create a couple of tables, fill them with data, and I'm off and running. For anyone who's interested in how I did this or wants to build a similar environment, you can go to the link below. I've got a local VM running with DevStack, MagnetoDB, and a 3-node Cassandra cluster. So, also, if you're interested in a little bit more information, you can check out our resources here, our wiki, our launchpad, our documentation, or you can just reach out to us directly, hash MagnetoDB. So, in conclusion, I want to thank you for listening today, and we hope that you'll join us in the effort.